health or Ayush, because we are focused on health and Ayush. So I would like to welcome Dr. Suparna Sanyal Mukherjee Madam, Dr. Sekat Basuji, Dr. Smita Raja from London, Dr. Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji, welcome, Dr. Ramveer Sharma ji, and our pillar, Dr. V.K. Agnihotri sir, Professor V.K. Agnihotri sir. Welcome, sir, welcome. Now I would like two speakers are here in Energy Conservation Day, Dr. Suparna Sanyal Mukherjee Madam and Dr. Sekat Kumar Basu. In addition to that, we all will add value to this topic. So I would like to invite Dr. Vishnu Prasad Sharma sir for his welcome address.
Namaskar. Good evening to everybody. Hari Om. Respected distinguished guests, eminent speaker, ladies and gentlemen. I, Professor Dr. Vishnu Prasad Sharma, welcome all of you to AYUSH Samriddhi International Webinar Series on Sustainable Entrepreneurship for Health. Most important subject today we have. In this webinar, we have eminent speaker. I want to welcome Dr. Suparna S. Mukherjee from Bolpur. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, madam, and welcome you to this Ayush Samriddhi webinar. Next, I want to welcome Dr. Sekat Kumar Basu from Alberta, Canada. Namaskar, sir, and welcome you to this AYUSH Samriddhi International webinar. Once again, I welcome all the eminent speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to this AYUSH Samriddhi webinar on sustainable entrepreneurship for...
No, Energy Conservation Day, sir. Energy Conservation. अग्निहोत्री
एनर्जी इसमें तो ये लिखा हुआ है ना?
नहीं, मैंने आज दिया नहीं सर, वो गलती से चला गया था।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, एनर्जी, जस्ट अ मिनट,
कंजर्वेशन डे,
एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन डे,
ऊर्जा संरक्षण
है,
ऊर्जा संरक्षण।
अच्छा अच्छा. So once again I welcome all the energy conservation for health. Once again I welcome speaker, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to this AYUSH Samriddhi webinar series. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you very much sir, thank you very much. अब मैं आदरणीय अग्निहोत्री सर से मंच संचालन सहित और इनकी सभी के मतलब प्राक कथन की मैं क्या कहूँ, एनर्जी एक ऐसा विषय है कि हमें हर समय हर दिन कंजर्व करना चाहिए, नहीं तो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन एनर्जी के बिना होगी और हम फिर वही ऊंट गाड़ी बैलगाड़ी सब उस पर चले आएंगे। रेडियम, रोडियम, ये यूरेनियम, जितने भी हम डीप जाएं, पब्लिक इतनी बढ़ती जा रही है, एनर्जी के कंजर्वेशन का बहुत बड़ा उचित समय है। तो मैं आदरणीय अग्निहोत्री सर से प्रार्थना करता हूँ। आदरणीय अग्निहोत्री,
थैंक यू प्रोफेसर पवन शर्मा जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। थैंक यू प्रोफेसर शमशाद शर्मा जी। आज के हमारे दोनों गेस्ट स्पीकर्स डॉक्टर सेकत कुमार बसु जी, डॉक्टर मैडम सुपर्णा सैनन मुखर्जी जी। आई वेलकम all the guest speakers along with all the distinguished dignitaries along with those who are along with our platform, including Professor Ram Sharma sir and our those persons who are viewing our YouTube this telecast. The view is very, very important. That is the energy conservation. We are all having energy to at least conserve the energy. We must think, and we have got plenty of thought to conserve energy, and especially we have got the wonderful source of energy that is the head of the solar kingdom, and that is sun, or we can say Lord Sun. had that greatest source of energy had not been with us, it's very difficult to have a natural source of for synthesis of vitamin D with the help of this early morning sun rays. और अब हमको यह समझ में आ गया है कि इस सोलर एनर्जी को भी कंजर्व करके हम लोगों ने जो हमारी हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक है उसको बचाने की भी क्षमता कर ली। और पैरेलली आज का सबसे बड़ा डेवलपमेंट सोलर पैनल्स का मार्केट में आना और उनके द्वारा ग्रिड तैयार होकर बिजली का उत्पादन होना, बिजली को वापस आइडल में देना और हमें अच्छे से एनर्जी का जहाँ एक तरफ एक प्रॉपर यूटिलाइजेशन हुआ। करोड़ों वर्षों से सूर्य भगवान अपनी एनर्जी दे रहे हैं, ताप दे रहे हैं, प्रकाश दे रहे हैं, लेकिन अब वो डिवाइसेस बनी पिछले 30-40 सालों से बनी भारत में आते आते आज एक प्रधानमंत्री का माननीय प्रधानमंत्री का 15 अगस्त से एक डिक्लेरेशन एक बन गया कि हम हर घर में इतनी एनर्जी सूर्य के द्वारा बनवाएं वैकल्पिक सूर्य ऊष्मा के रूप में जो कम से कम 10 यूनिट पर डे सोलर एनर्जी से सोलर इलेक्ट्रिक की कंजर्वेशन हो सके। ये बहुत बड़ी बात हुई। तो हमारे आदरणीय guest speakers are going to enlighten us regarding the conservation of energy and that too from the natural sources if it is possible, because that will give us a great life to our air, to great life to our water source, and in this way our water sources and air both will be contamination free, pollution free, and we will be having a very comfortable life if we become so intelligent and so careful, aware for the conservation of energy. With these words, I welcome our guest speakers and I would like to invite first, if Madam is comfortable, Dr. Suparna Sanal Mukherjee ji for today's this very important topic for each and every, not only human being, but also for all the creatures, including our animals, our fishes, our all the living beings in the environment or in the atmosphere. So welcome, madam. Namaskar.
Namaste. Very good evening. Thank you very much for giving me another opportunity to say on this auspicious topic, energy conservation. Yesterday it was very good, that is the sustainability and entrepreneurship, and today is the energy conservation. So first of all, we have to emphasize, before starting, I convey my best regard and gratitude to all the dignitaries over here on this August platform, the AYUSH SAMRIDDHI platform. ये सोचना है कि जो energies है in our surrounding system or in our galaxy where we are living. So 5 energies are there. What are those 5 energies? Number 1, heat energy, light energy, electric energy, wind energy, and magnetism. So we are living on these 5 energies, and there is a system, or there is a conception that the soul is a heat energy. Why heat energy? जब तक हम जिंदा है तब तक हमारा बॉडी बहुत हीट है, बॉडी में हीट रहते हैं, और जब हम जिंदा नहीं रहते हैं तो बॉडी ठंड हो जाते हैं। सो ये जो हीट एनर्जी, सो हम जानते हैं कि हमारा जो सोल है वो अविनश्वर, वो सोल का कोई डेथ नहीं होता। ये जो कंसेप्शन हम पूर्व जैसे Upanishad, Gita, wherever we can go forward, we can get this conception. But this conception is very true. Why? But energy cannot die. Energy can transfer. So our energy transformation always happen after death. Also, the heat energy transform into some energies. So the science has not yet been able to identify the particularly which energy it is to be transformed, but the soul is retaining and sustaining. In that cases, we can emphasize, हम ये बोल सकते हैं कि energy conservation refers to the way activities which are done to minimize muscle fatigue in case of the physical health concern, then the joint stress and the pain. By using the body effectivity, if we can pursue our work, day-to-day work, and subsequently doing things like the office work, then homework, then the work in the which we used to do every day in the 24 hours, except the sleeping. So we can save energy. So simplification and the energy conservation principles will allow a person to remain independent and be less frustrated by their illness when their energy lasts throughout the day. So this energy we have to conserve. How we are conserving energy? Our body health have the energy sustainability also. So where we can restore our energy. The food we are taking food intake process and digestion process, and when it has transformed into the amino acids and then storing energy. So it is stored in our body parts, and this when we are not getting food, if we are getting sick, or whenever we are not getting food and we are not yet to be eat food, that time this energy sustainability or energy protection we can get from the storing energy. These storing conservation techniques are not synonymous with this promoting the art of laziness. So basically, we have rectified and we have think that the energy conservation techniques allow ushers to redistribute efforts to complete tasks that the most important part of our body and the functioning of our body. And so there is, we have seen the in case of the sustainability, the entrepreneurship development, all are the restoring the energy or all the conservation process by which we can develop our daily activities, how the health promotion and disease prevention which can offer you and which can depends on the perceptive value of the development orientation and the support that individuals and various organizations which are willing to commit to ongoing different types of operations, and this conservation can be achieved through continued commitment to achieving the program's goal and mission, increasing capacity in local system, changing knowledge and attitude, ongoing collaboration, improving services models, and implementing new policies and which can support the energy conservation. Energy conservation not only depend upon the health system. Energy conservation is depend upon the ecological balance. Ecological balance where we are sustaining our development is going on. On that cases, we have to restore our sustainable eco development. That means if we cannot restore our environment, we cannot survive. So Darwin said that the survival is the fittest. You are surviving in the environment where you are surviving. There are two types of surviving. That is the interspecific and intraspecific. Along with this, the environmental surviving is needed for the sustainable development. At the same time, the energy restoration and energy conservation, which obtaining input and by inform of the community and the partner policies also there. So identified a credible and enthusiastic program which can develop and which can advocate for the developmental program. So energy conservation is always giving you the cognitive senses development. If you cannot think, if your cognitive senses not be developed, so you cannot restore the energy. That energy is needed, like the we need the free radicals, we need the antioxidants food, and which is needed for our daily energy sustainability daily work. We needed the energy and determining appropriate indicators for the evolution, because we know that we have come through the evolutionary process, because through this evolution, we needed the energy. How we have come to this quadruped to biped? Because just because of the evolution, and which evolution has been possible for the cognitive senses, development of cognitive senses. Otherwise, it is not possible. Because we are surviving in the nature only. So whatever we are doing in the nature, in the ecological system and the ecosystem and eco balance, has to need it for the energy, sustaining of the energy. And in case of the other causes, like the we have seen, there are so many energy sustainability. It is not possible to go through the all, but I am just highlighting the two or three senses like this. The the respiratory energy system. Respiratory failure or respiratory system, which is needed the energy sustainability and energy restoration. Just because our environment is getting polluted, where we are not getting the oxygen properly, and our lungs is not functioning very properly. So that's why we needed the energy restoration. How we are doing this energy restoration? There are several technique, there are several method, but one thing is very important, that is called the hypoxemia. This, in that cases, the blood, especially the normal arterial partial pressure, the oxygen is 75, and it is different from the hypoxia, where the tissues organ is deliver the metabolism system, which is restoring the aerobic system, which is needed. The hypoxemia refers to a lower than the normal arterial blood oxygen level. So we have to develop the oxygen level in our blood. So how do we develop our oxygen level in the blood? So there is the various processes by which we can develop. One thing is the deep breathing practice, then the meditation. The common effect of this acute lung failure, that is, we needed the free oxygenation. So that's why we can develop our lung function is very good. At the same time, we can also develop the arterial blood pressure, which is very important to maintain the pulse rate and the pulse system, which can restore the, which can also develop the heart activity. So this taste also, lungs are getting enough oxygen, lungs are removing enough carbon dioxide, the kidneys are working properly. So these are the system where we can develop our all the restoration of energy, especially for the healthcare. And healthcare is also related with the environmental factor. If we can develop and we can sustaining in the environment, so we have to look after the pollution free world. But it is not yet been possible, because the invention we have done, the humankind has done, the pollution free world is very difficult to create again. But we have seen there is a few years back that the when the all the cars were the vehicle was not there, the all the factories were closed. So we have seen there are so many things has happened, the how the nature is restoring, and how the nature has giving us feedback as the good health system. So in that, it is also very important part of our life, that we have to be more effective and we have to be more aware to restore our environment and to protect our environment, for the health benefit, for the educational benefit, for the health system, for the care, because all the plant kingdom and animal kingdoms all are needed, all have been created by the Almighty, because everyone is dependent upon with the other. So that's why we will survive and others would not survive. This is not the fact. So we, when we are surviving, because our surviving is dependent upon with the others. If the 1% oxygen level will be increased in our environment, so we cannot be survive. If there is a carbon dioxide percentage will increase, it is very difficult for us to survive over here. So we have to look after all the parts, all the system, all the environmental factor for surviving us the free life and healthy life we needed. And Ayush Samriddhi, the Ayush has the very important role because the Ayush is giving us so many invention, especially the healthcare system. There are so many medicines are there, medicinal plants are there. So these plants are not yet been invented by the Ayush, not by the scientific acumen or by the human being. So there are so many the animals are there, the microbes are there. There are so many parts of the plants, uses of the plants. There is so many benefit over there in the human health, but we don't know. The science has not yet been invented the all the micro things, but it is very important for development and for sustaining in the environment. We needed the more healthy situation, very good health conditions, and we have to survive in the health conditions, and we have to maintain our life. We have to expect that we have to develop our life expectancy. So we should be aware, we should have the knowledge with the courage to develop ourselves, to protect the environment, to restore the environment, to maintain the eco balance and ecosystem for sustaining development and to sustain over here. So this is a very important part of the Ayush and the all human beings. Thank you very much. Thanks to giving me such an opportunity. Thanks a lot.
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू सो मच। आपने बहुत ही अच्छा बताया। हम तो खाली एनर्जी, सोलर एनर्जी को ही मानते रहे। आपने 5 एनर्जी बताई, साथ साथ आपने क्रीचर्स के बारे में अच्छा बताया कि हमारे जो प्लांट्स हैं, हमारे जो एनिमल्स हैं और हमारे जो पक्षी हैं, इन सबके साथ में इनकी भी जनरेशन का बनाए रखने के लिए भी एनर्जी का कंजर्वेशन जरूरी है। साथ साथ फूड ग्रेन्स का भी कंजर्वेशन उतना ही जरूरी है। सब एक दूसरे पर निर्भर करते हैं, वनस्पतियों पर हम पर वनस्पतियां, सभी प्राणी, सबका जो एक पॉलिनेशन होता है, उसके बदौलत से एक हमारा जो ज्योग्राफिकल साइकिल है वो चलती है। और इसके लिए भी एनर्जी, वायु, जल, आकाश सभी की जरूरत पड़ती है, हीट सभी की जरूरत पड़ती है। वेरी काइंड वर्ड्स uttered by you in respect to the energy conservation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite our beloved Dr. Sekat Kamarasuji, and we do hope that definitely he will start with the words that Madam has covered a lot, but I would like to say something different out of his stuff. So I very honorably invite Dr. Sekat Kamarasuji for his delivery. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar. Namaskar. Thank you, Sharma ji, Agnihotri ji. It's a great pleasure once again to be in the AYUSH platform. I will request Pawan Sharma ji, once again आप आज के जो टॉक है उसका पोस्टर जो है ना वो थोड़ा मुझे भेज दीजिएगा। मैं उसे लोकेट नहीं कर पाया। आई थिंक maybe I accidentally deleted it. I could not locate the poster today.
वो अभी ऊखी मठ में बैठ के बनाया है, अभी जस्ट नाउ रेडीमेड
अच्छा अभी
पकाया
बनाया
है
है
मैंने।
आपने। अच्छा। तो
मैं
इसमें
आई एम
तो
इन
बद्रीनाथ की
ऊखीमठ,
आशीर्वाद भी पैक हो
आई एम
जाएगा।
इन ऊखीमठ उत्तराखंड,
नहीं
जहाँ
आप तो
केदारनाथ जी
देवभूमि
रहते
में,
हैं।
you are in
जय
the
हो।
Devbhumi, in the land of Ujala and energy. Thank you. So, energy conservation, why are we talking about this? Is like why around the world we are talking about this is because for a long time we have been dealing with finite resources. So, what are these major resources that we are talking about? These are, we find that we have a coal-based energy system, then we have the oil, gasoline, petrol, kerosene, or hydrocarbon-based energy system, and then we have the hydropower electric energy system that generates power through our river streams, rivulets, etc. For long, we have been used to using these resources. And after many years, when we are now looking into our energy use, we are finding that there is very little chance of energy use going down, our energy consumption has been increasing. Our lifestyles has been changing. Our way of living has been in changing. Our philosophy of life has been changing, and the number of people added to the population globally is also increasing. And India is especially an important country or a factor to mention because we are now the largest populous country of the world. So with all these people around the world, we have huge number of demand of energy. A big amount of this energy, whether we like it or not, comes from the burning of fossil fuels, which means that includes our petrol, hydro, diesel, kerosene gas, etc. For our cooking, we are using that butane gas and stuff. And also for running our huge factories and stuff in many parts, our industries run on our hydropower projects. So all this extensive energy has been used, and then we have the coal, which we extensively use in our running our energy system for providing electricity in various megawatt power units spread across the country in the form of hydropower or coal powered factories that are dependent on these energy, so for on these renewable sources for as a source of energy, whether it is coal, whether it is petroleum, diesel, kerosene, everything, they are originating from ancient fossil forms. So that coal is also petrified forms of fossils of ancient plant remains, and hydrocarbons are also ancient remains of marine animals that have undergone transformation under huge temperature pressure for millions of years to produce these resources that after refining we use as energy. Now, India does not have stored oil, or wherever where we have, it is much limited. There is always extensive surveys going on in the country, and we get fictitious news that, like one day. I've looked into the news and I find that one day in Gujarat, Western Gujarat, huge oil and gas reserves are discovered. Few days back, there are reports there are oil and gas reserves discovered in the Godavari Krishna Valley and things like that. This nonsense has been going for a long time across India. I do not know whether there the exploration really happens and we are really finding these resources, or this could be a paper thing, because after those discoveries and stuff, nothing do we hear more about them, about all these oils and other reserves that we talk about in the Bay of Bengal. It is said that Bangladesh, the seashell under the Bangladesh continental plate has a huge number of natural gas store reserves and stuff. Same is told about various parts around the Sundarbans and other areas in West Bengal. I have read those reports, but nothing has come out of this. So that this colossal need for energy for this country, we do not hear what these explorations are doing, and in spite of the fact that we are declaring that there has been new fields and stuff discovered, what are being done about this, or whether they are active mines or whether they are being actively explored, I'm not very sure what is going on. But nonetheless, for all these power projects, for all these things that we have, has traditionally and continuously for a long time, they have supplied us with all forms of power and energy. But because they are also responsible for generating pollution, and that pollution is leading to our climate change, greenhouse gas generations, and other related problems, we have been looking long for alternative source of energy. Now, what are the alternative sources of energy where we are talking about conservation of energy is those energy forms which are less polluting, apparently less polluting. Like what are these? Like we are using wind power, talking about tidal power energy, we are using solar power, geothermal energy, particularly in Uttarakhand. Like if you go to Badrinath, the hot springs that we have, these internal heated systems are a form of geothermal energy that is coming out from the beneath the surface of the earth because of various geological reactions that are happening, and the heat generated can also be trapped as a source of energy and for heating and stuff. And in many smaller European countries, geothermal energies are very actively used. It is not a very major energy system that is being used in India because we do not have huge number of geothermal sources that has been discovered, but we do have alternative. Like India has become really big in terms of consumption of solar power energy along Western India. Many places, windmills are being supplied and buildings are being established, and all these alternative energy forms and stuff are being used. And we are quite happy about this, that we are finding all these alternative energy resources and things. But what I like to highlight upon is, like, when we look into these alternative energy resources and try and compare them, not in the terms of pollution, but in the terms of cost, there are additional cost of having these alternative energy system, which many countries, particularly developing and underdeveloping countries, are unable to afford. Look into the windmills. If you look into that 20-foot windmills, which is around 3, 4, or 5 storied buildings height, and if you look into the machine, it's almost like a, a middle-sized SUV cars. Is the power of the motor, and then we have these huge wings that rotates. If you look at them from a distance, or even if you look at them from a very close distance, they seem to be moving at very, very slow speed, but actually they are generating power and energy. And we, over the time, this power has been expanding, and many countries have extensively used wind energy as an important part of, like, for example, in Europe, the Dutch first started using the windmills, which was a traditional form of their windmills. From them come this idea of making the modern windmills, and now they have become very common in many parts of North America, and North America is considered to be one of the greatest center of wind harvested energy. These are gigantic structures of steel and other materials. And if you look very closely, you will realize that the production of these huge steel structure that we are now having, and they are being installed, like they are being placed on vehicles, and being taken from one part of the country to be installed. If you look into their cost of production, the cost of installation, their number of years of service that they produce, then there is a very important question to ask is, we are spending huge amount of our coal based energy or fossil fuel power based energy to produce materials which provide us with alternative resources. In countries like Canada, it has been reported that as long as we have been increasing the number of windmills, more and more, like 100 windmills, 1,000 windmills, 5,000 windmills, 10,000 windmills, as the number of windmills are getting increased, enhanced, and has been feeding the energy system, we are finding that this system is not operating very efficiently. Why? These are new things that we are getting to learn. If we have too many windmills along an area, this is finding that the rotation of one windmill is applying and affecting the rotation of another windmill, and this is vice versa. This effect, or this AB current, is being conducted through all the system of that wind farm, and is impacting the total energy production over the time. Now, this was something that was not known to us. So it is cutting the efficiency. It is also cutting the lifelong services, or the energy, or the lifeline, or the number of years that they are in services, and their maintenance is also quite extensive and quite expensive. So although these are very good alternative sources of energy, we need to think the way we are producing this is also consuming huge amount of our coal based, or our fossil fuel based energy. Then what is the utility, or energy saving, or the energy conservation we are talking about? So this is also an important question to raise. For example, the dams has provided, the hydroelectric power system quite extensively. India is one of the major hydroelectric power generating systems of the world. But as the dams, increase in their year, or their ages expand, we find that their efficiency is going down. They are no longer down the years so efficient in producing electricity, because the maintenance of these dams are becoming increasingly humongously expensive. There is huge sedimentation and siltation on these dams. As a result, their depth is reduced, and the efficiency with which the water is discharged and falls causes lesser amount of energy generation. And again, although this was constructed for flooding, or flood control, but because the maintenance is expensive, they are not really maintained, and the silting deposition is so heavy in these rivers, or the rivulets and streams that you are using, that even during the flood years, as and when these dams are getting older, their ability to hold water effectively and efficiently is reducing, and they are being reduced then in huge amount to the adjoining areas, and that is causing even more floods, than they used to have it before. So this is also an important question to ask, is when we are producing energy, we are trying to make money, save energy, build the economy. But every year, the destruction that is being set through the flooding of the rivers and misuse of these dams and ill maintenance is causing more destruction of life and property than the money we are being able to generate, or the revenue that we are being able to generate through these hydroelectric powers and stuff. Mini hydroelectric power projects are extensively distributed throughout our country and has been very successful at one point of time. But over the years, as they are aging, their efficiency is going down. So this is conventional energy. Let's talk about another non-conventional energy resources. That is the tidal power, which is nothing, but this is the same kind of windmill, but much smaller, that are being installed at the base of the sea or the river where there is high tides and the tidal currents are exceptionally strong. This will go and rotate the rotors and energy is generated. But at the same time, the installation of this gigantic structure of this tidal power generator or these tidal power fans, when they are being established at the bottom of the sea or at the bottom of the ocean, the destruction that is being done to the bottom of the ocean is causing huge pollution level and loss of biodiversity. So this is a challenge. The amount of energy that we are producing, the revenue we are generating, and even though we are calling it to be non-polluting or non-pollution generation, even their establishment and their construction again comes from conventional, coal-based or oil-based, hydrocarbon-based technology, which is causing huge, consumption of these for the production of this material. Their lives are quite short, and at the same time, their installation at the bottom of the sea and the ocean is an entire destruction of the marine ecosystem. So, is this alternative energy helping in the process of generation? Let us move into our solar power energy. Solar power energy is becoming extremely popular. That there are hundreds and thousands of solar units, semiconductors that are being utilized in many, many countries around the world. India itself is one of the gigantic solar power users and has been successful in generating huge, massive, uh, you know, uh, solar power units across the country. By 2030, we are going to be even more expanding our solar power generators. But recently, there are reports that we have never paid attention to, is that, say, for example, if you have a roof at the top of the building and you have solar panels down there, if you are increasing more and more solar panels, definitely they are generating power from the solar energy, but there is also heat being trapped underneath the solar panels that is causing another local heating. And because the building material that are used in the constructions of our building are of extremely poor quality, so the ray of the sun as well as the heat negatively generated from the solar panels are extensively heating out the panels during the summertime. And because of the close proximity of these buildings, they are having a multiple mirror reflection process in which heat reflected from one building is being, or heat released from one building is reflected by another building. Because of the poor quality of material in which we generate this, the absorption of heat in these buildings are increasing. So we are definitely generating power, but we are also adding to the heat part. Is because the way these solar panels are being laid is a challenge or a problem. In many deserts and other areas or windy areas now, instead of lying solar panels flat, they're making it standing upright like the signposts that we had used them, so that the back part do get enough space so heat does not trap behind them. This is a new model that has come up in, but the older model of having flat, your entire roof surface being covered with solar panels is also generating heat that is heating up the building, rather than when you are adding heat to the system. And even during hot summer evenings, our buildings and particularly in the cities are not being effectively cooled. Is once of because of these, where there are extensive solar panel used, this local heating of the building because of the heat trapped beneath the solar panel, together with heat released from the air conditioning system as well as the reflection of heat from various buildings, is heating up the environment. So it's global warming or global heat trap of the towns and the cities, particularly in highly populous areas, in highly thickly populated areas of the world, are getting worse. Calcutta is considered to be a heat sink. by nature, in which we are having less amount of nor'westers towards the end of the evening. And in spite of that, because of these faulty methods of construction and laying these energy generators, we are having more and more heat. So this is one conventional challenge. The other non-conventional energy uses has been, the hydrocarbons, the green fuel, and other parts. At one point of time, Brazil was the first country that used to have sugarcane. Ethanol derived from sugarcane. They used to convert them into fuel, and they were the first to use this technology extensively. USA got attracted to this technology, and for quite some time, they converted a huge amount of their agriculture productivity in producing sugarcane so that they can produce ethanol for running the vehicles. But soon, after a few years, they realized that this is compromising with their food production system, as more and more farmers being interested in sugarcane production is not producing enough crops for food generation purpose. As a consequence, the staggering rising population of US needs extra food supply, which instead of producing in their own country, the government would have to import from other countries, which is increasing the cost of the food. This is also a food security issue. And so after a few years, and after a couple decades of producing sugarcane and extensively highlighting on these green fuel stuff, US has slowly given up and again got back to our old conventional fuel sources. But with this new Tesla and other energy efficient electric vehicles and motor cars that is coming, things are changing. So we are trying to look about energy conservation and stuff, but new challenges are impacting our life in various new forms that we have never realized. As we are increasing the units of non-conventional energy resources such as tidal power, wind power, solar power, as more and more panels, as more and more units are added to the system, new forms of pollution, new forms of energy conservation challenges are coming in front of us. So this we have never confronted before. But as we are using these non-conventional energy resources, this is again a technical question that these non-conventional energy resources also is adding to population pollution, as well as the cost of production of the energy is increasing and adding up to our economy. So whether they are helping is also a very serious question. And particularly this new technology based energy system are prevalent in the Western countries, in developed countries. But when we are trying to introduce into developing, underdeveloped countries, these non-conventional energy resources are, or these systems, or this system transition is hugely expensive for these countries to afford. So increasingly, we are again getting dependent on our fossil fuel based in energy supply system. So energy conservation is definitely an important issue, but still we are having new issues which are impacting our life in various forms, where we are finding new challenges that is impacting energy conservation, increasing the cost. The green energy of today is turning into a black energy of tomorrow. So even with these new non-conventional energy uses that we used to be so much proud of, so much happy that they are not polluting, we are finding new forms of pollution and addition to the economy that we have never seen before. So we have to keep on finding new solutions, other new energy sources, and particularly nuclear energy has come up as a very viable, significant energy system in country like France. A vast majority of their energy system comes from nuclear energy, but it has to be very careful. For example, what happened in Chernobyl, the accidents of that massacre, or the Fukushima incident that happened in Japan, if these kind of incidents happens with your nuclear fuel plants, this is something that would have a long term impact on our ecosystem and on our life too. So nuclear energy is one of the best alternative energies that we could look for. It could reduce the cost of energy production once it is installed over the time, but the maintenance and the security is such a huge issue. If there is an earthquake, or if there is a massive accident or a groundbreaking accident or something, or a war may take place, then hitting those installation, hitting those nuclear power centers will destroy the entire country, or in a vast majority of the country, is also a security issue. So we are having questions and issues in every direction and dimension that we are trying to move when we are looking to look into various forms of alternative energy sources. So energy conservation is extremely challenging and a sensitive issues, and we are having more questions, more challenges than we are getting solutions. I conclude here. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity and explaining this complex topic, which looks simple, but yet it is a highly complicated area of research, and extensive work is going on around the world to find newer forms of energy, or how to use our energy in a less polluting form and a more economically affordable way. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Excellent, Dr. Sagar. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just now I have reached Uki and
Okay,
began this.
okay, okay, okay. Is it too cold there?
Ukimad means
How was the temperature? How cold?
2 degree at present.
Arey, wah, 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 wah. Enjoy the cold. Enjoy the
Thank
enjoy the chill.
Enjoying America.
Yes, yes. Very much,
Two,
very
three.
much.
Agnihotri sir.
जी बहुत बहुत आभार, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत ही अच्छा आपने लास्ट सेंटेंस बढ़िया बता दिया कि दो इट लुक्स लाइक ए स्मॉल टॉपिक बट इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट एंड हार्ड टू conserve the energy. Of course it is letting out by so many means throughout country because of the lack of information, lack of knowledge, and also our living system is like this, that we are least aware for conserving the energy. If the switch is on, the fan is on, the AC is on, the things are on, whether the rooms are closed or open, they are continuing in this way. So a small saved energy is of course be of great use and get useful. Saved money, saved energy, like that. So save time, save energy, save time, save money. So goes the case with the saving of each and every essential, which can be made easily by the human beings. So it's important to get the importance of the energy. Of course, it has got so many forms, like it's the magnetic energy, heat energy, of course, light energy. These things can be conserved and to be consumed that much which is necessary, then it will automatically be conserved. So, learned, distinguished guest speakers spoken on this topic very intelligently and highlighted the importance of these energies and also the importance of its conservation. So, I thank Dr. Suparna Salan Mukherjee, ma'am, and Dr. Saikat Kumar Basuji. Since the topic is open, and I will not miss to say thanks to Dr. Madam Subhita Vardhan. Also, she joined once, so I extend my thanks to Madam Subhita Vardhan ji also. And considering the topic is open, I would like to invite Professor Rambir Sharma sir. Of course, since he is with us, and definitely he has got a so fertile brain that he will definitely put forward some very, very important things to make the situation regarding the topic more and more important regarding the conservation of energy. So I would like to invite Professor Rambir Sharma sir. Please join us and say a few words on the topic, conservation of energy. Namaskar.
नमस्कार भाई सैकत बसु जी का पहले भी मैंने बताया कि बहुत अच्छा टॉपिक, किसी भी टॉपिक को दे दिए बहुत अच्छा बोलते हैं। मैम भी
सही बात है,
ऑलराउंडर हैं, मल्टी डायमेंशनल हैं, तो मैं
he is full of energy and he also conserves the energy. As and when required, he releases
ऑल टाइप ऑफ एनर्जी। तो सभी तरह की एनर्जी जो उन्होंने बताई, उनके सभी के हैजार्ड्स, एडवांटेज डिसएडवांटेज भी बताए। सोलर एनर्जी का भी डिसएडवांटेज उन्होंने बता दिया कि टेम्परेचर को राइज करेगी और जो अपनी छत की जो केमिकल्स हैं उनको भी डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकती है। दूसरी चीज इसमें मेरे ख्याल से दो तरह की एनर्जी है। एक तो अपने पहले की जो फॉसिल एनर्जी है, जिसमें ऑयल आ जाता है, कोल आ जाता है, नेचुरल गैस आ जाती है। तो फॉसिल एनर्जी, ऑयल वगैरह जो है, जो ये खत्म होने की संभावना ज्यादा रहती है, तो इसलिए उनको डिपेंड करने की जगह दूसरी जगह जाना चाहिए। मैम ने एक चीज और बात की, अब दो तरह की एनर्जी है। एक तो अपने लिए एनर्जी, शरीर के अंदर एनर्जी, उसको कंजर्व कैसे करें, वो हेल्थ के लिए जरूरी रहती है, जो अपने विश्राम कहते हैं। आयुर्वेद के अंदर वात रोग होते हैं, उसके अंदर विश्राम कहते हैं। तो अपनी एनर्जी को कंजर्व करना और यूनिवर्स की एनर्जी को कंजर्व करना, तो ये एनर्जी जो है वो मेरे ख्याल से यूनिवर्स के लिए, अपने लिए नहीं है। हेल्थ के ऊपर भी आता है, हेल्थ के ऊपर भी किया जा सकता है, कैसे कैसे कंजर्व किया जाए। अपने हेल्थ के अंदर का एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन के क्या लाभ हैं, उसके ऊपर भी डिटेल में चर्चा की जाए। जहाँ तक इनकी बात है, एनर्जी की बात है, तो एनर्जी कैन नॉट बी डिस्ट्रॉय, ये कैन बी चेंज इन, इसका रूपांतरण हो सकता है, चेंज नहीं होती, ये निश्चित ही है। इसलिए हमारे यहाँ जो शक्ति की बात आती है, ऊर्जा की बात आती है, शक्ति की बात आती है, तो हमारे 9 प्रकार की शक्तियां बताई गई हैं। दुर्गा है तो नव दुर्गा बताई गई हैं। तो इसी तरह से ऊर्जा को भी अलग अलग प्रकार हैं। हाइड्रल पावर है, हाइड्रल पावर के बाद में अपने ये अपने सौर एनर्जी है, सौर एनर्जी की विंड एनर्जी है। तो अलग अलग तरह की एनर्जीज हैं। मोस्टली जो थर्मल पावर है वो तो कोयल से ही आती है, इसलिए उसको फॉसिल के अंदर चली जाएगी। न्यूक्लियर पावर है, न्यूक्लियर पावर के लिए अंदर भी बता दिया, न्यूक्लियर पावर सौर की ऊर्जा भी न्यूक्लियर पावर ही है एक तरह से। तो न्यूक्लियर पावर है, फॉसिल एनर्जी है, और जो अपने विंड एनर्जी है, मोस्टली इन चीजों से चलती है। समुद्र की जो टिडल अपने एनर्जी बताई, वो भी एक समुद्र से निकलने वाली एनर्जी है। वो भी हवा से ही लहरों उठती हैं, उन लहरों के द्वारा ही बनती है, तो वो भी एक विंड एनर्जी के रूप में यूज कर सकते हैं। हाइड्रल पावर और विंड एनर्जी के एक रूप बन गया उसका, टिडल एनर्जी का। तो विभिन्न प्रकार की एनर्जी का रूप एक ही है, शक्ति पैदा करती है, उसका रूप चेंज हो जाता है। और उसके अंदर अपने हाइड्रल एनर्जी के अंदर भी कोई ना कोई अपने वो है, ड्रॉबैक है। इसी तरह से सोलर एनर्जी के ड्रॉबैक है। एटॉमिक एनर्जी का तो आपने बता ही दिया। एटॉमिक एनर्जी का अगर एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो उसका जितना फायदा नहीं मिलता, जितना लॉस हो सकता है, जैसा कि जापान वगैरह के अंदर लीकेज वगैरह हो। तो एनर्जी के उसके देखना पड़ेगा कि कितना किसका लॉस है, मगर निश्चित ही जो चीज खत्म होने जा रही है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं रह सकते। हमारी सरकार ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है। अपने जहाँ पे भी कच्छ एरिया में जाएंगे, राजस्थान के एरिया में आएंगे, तो विंड एनर्जी के बहुत सारे विंड मिल्स लगा रखे। तो ठीक है, उनका जो ड्रॉबैक है उसकी बात की देखा है, मगर अभी तो कोयला ही पैदा नहीं हो रहा है, ऑयल ही पैदा नहीं हो रहा है। हमारे यहाँ देखा जाए तो कितना सारा ऑयल खत्म होता है। अब इसके लिए 4 पीज बताई है उन्होंने, चाहे शरीर के लिए हो चाहे उसके लिए हो। तो पीस के अंदर है, उसमें अपने प्लानिंग है, इस तरह से 4 पीस का प्रयोग किया जाता है इसमें एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन में। उनका अगर प्रयोग किया जाए तो निश्चित ही इसका लाभ मिलेगा। और एनर्जी के बिना तो निश्चित ही ये चाहे शरीर हो, चाहे समाज हो, चाहे देश हो, चाहे दुनिया हो, चल नहीं सकती। तो एनर्जी को, जो पुरानी चीजें जो खत्म होने जा रही हैं, उसकी जगह पर अपने को विकल्प तलाशने पड़ेंगे। और सरकार ने बहुत अच्छा किया है। सोलर एनर्जी के लिए उन्होंने एक अपने घर घर सोलर एनर्जी लगाने का जो कार्यक्रम किया है, उससे हमारी जो फॉसिल एनर्जी है उस पर अपने, जैसे थर्मल एनर्जी, थर्मल पावर है, तो थर्मल पावर में कोयला आ ही रहा है, कोयला बाहर से भी मंगाना पड़ता है, ऑयल बाहर से मंगाना पड़ता है, तो उनके ऊपर हम लोग कम डिपेंड होंगे। हाँ, उसका परिणाम ये भी आया है, अभी उन्होंने बहुत सारा चेंज किया है। जैसे अपने इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल आए हैं, तो इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल है, उसके वजह से फॉसिल एनर्जी जो ऑयल है वो कम हो जाएगा। मगर उसका फायदा, नुकसान क्या है, डॉक्टर साहब ने जैसे बताया, उसकी बैटरी जब खत्म हो जाती है तो बैटरी चेंज करनी पड़ती है, बैटरी बहुत महंगी आती है। और उस बैटरी का केमिकल जो लिथियम है वो खत्म ही नहीं होता, वो अपने पॉल्यूशन और ज्यादा पॉल्यूशन करता है। तो निश्चित ही उसके लाभ भी है तो उसके नुकसान भी है। तो लिथियम जो बैटरीज बनाते हैं, लिथियम बैटरी की वजह से वो पली रहती है, अपने एनवायरनमेंट को खराब करती है, और फिर उसके बाद में उसका हैजार्ड्स पैदा शुरू हो जाएंगे। तो निश्चित ही कोई ना कोई नुकसान तो होता ही है। मगर प्रेजेंट में जो सोलर एनर्जी चलाई है, उससे सोलर एनर्जी से सूर्य से निकलेगी अपने को, और दूसरे अपने जो इलेक्ट्रिक वाहन है वो भी चलेंगे। सरकार ने बढ़ावा दिया है, तो इसके लिए सरकार का जो रास्ता है वो अच्छा है। और समय समय के अनुसार ये चेंजेस आते रहते हैं। एक समय में कोयले का इंजन चलता था, उसके बाद डीजल का इंजन आया, आज अपने इलेक्ट्रिक इंजन आ गए, ज्यादातर इलेक्ट्रिफाइड हो गया। तो निश्चित ही वायु प्रदूषण कम हो रहा है और उनके ऊपर डिपेंड कम हो रहे हैं। तो इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी की जगह पर विंड एनर्जी और सोलर एनर्जी चल रही है। एक चीज और आ गई है, हाइड्रोजन हाइड्रोजन कार्स आ गई हैं, वो भी एक एनर्जी आई है। तो इस तरह से एनर्जी के अंदर डे बाई डे अपने रिसर्च होते रहते हैं और चेंज होते रहते हैं। मुझे लगता है बहुत ही अच्छा सेशन रहा। और वसु जी ने तो बहुत अच्छा जो प्रोजेक्ट लेते हैं, बड़ा अच्छा करते हैं। सारी एनर्जी के 8 प्रकार की एनर्जी है मॉडर्न के अनुसार। तो 8 प्रकार की एनर्जी को हम 9 प्रकार की एनर्जी बोलते हैं, जिसको दुर्गा के रूप में पूजते हैं। 9 तरह की दुर्गा है, नव दुर्गा है, नव शक्ति की पूजा करते हैं। मुझे लगता है वो पूजा है करते हैं, वो एनर्जी के ही भाव हैं, उनको अलग तरीके से बता दिया गया है। और मैं गायनी का आदमी होने की वजह से, तो जो महिला है उसकी एज के आधार पर जिस तरह से जो जो अपना रूप लेती जाती है, कुष्मांडा है तो गड़बड़ी का है रूप है, तो इस तरह से अपने कन्या है उसका रूप अलग है। तो उस रूपों के अंदर भी हम देखते हैं, और एनर्जी के रूप में भी इसको देखा जा सकता है कि अलग अलग तरह से एनर्जी है, वो अपने माता के रूप में ही है। तो मुझे लगता है एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन करना चाहिए। और ज्यादा बोलना भी एनर्जी की खतरनाक है, इसलिए कम बोलते हुए, एनर्जी अपनी बचाते हुए, कम बोलते हुए अपने शब्दों को विराम देता हूँ। थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप सभी
बहुत बढ़िया बहुत बढ़िया। हमने आपको इनवाइट करके निश्चित रूप से कुछ एनर्जी प्राप्त की और कुछ आपकी एनर्जी खर्च करवाई लेकिन इतना हुआ कि उससे लाभ सबको मिला। आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा। हमारे जो सनातन धर्म में ये हमारे जो शास्त्र बतलाते हैं, वहाँ दुर्गा का एक पर्यायवाची रूप जो है वो शक्ति ही है। और शक्ति का फिर साहब नाम कुछ भी दे रहे हैं एनर्जी के लिए। आप थोड़ा सा पीछे अगर चलें तो हमारी जो कुकिंग सोर्स था आज और तब में कितनी मारामारी थी। 67 नए पैसे से लेके फिर 2 रुपए 10 पैसे लीटर का कोयरसन लाया वो करता था, और जिसके लिए लाइन लगती थी। राशन कार्ड मिलता था, तेल आ रहा है, आज मिट्टी तेल बट रहा है, आज मिट्टी तेल बचा। लड़के बच्चे सब दौड़ के सारा काम छोड़ के वो लेते थे। फिर चाहे वो केरोसिन कुकर, वो कुकर था जनता कुकर, चाहे वो प्रभात का पंपिंग वाला कुकर था, वहां से चलिए हमारा स्टोव चला। और आज बदलते 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 यहाँ तक तो पहुंचे कि गैस सिलेंडर आ गया। सिलेंडर को लाने ले जाने, टिप देने, इंतजार करने, सिलेंडर खाली हो गया तो पता लगा कि आटा गुथा हुआ रह गया और खाना बंद न बंद। आज इतनी तरक्की हुई है, एक पाइपलाइन आ गई है। आपको पैसा देने की क्षमता आपका होनी चाहिए। वो आपको अनवरत वो सप्लाई देते हैं एनर्जी की कि आपने सब काम करिए, पानी गर्म करिए, आटा करिए, रोटी बनाइए, कुछ बनाइए, दूध उबालिए। तो ये एक जो रिफॉर्मेशन हुआ इसमें, जहां एक तरफ धन शक्ति बढ़ी, परचेजिंग पावर बनी, और कर्म शक्ति या उत्पादन शक्ति कितनी बढ़ी, लेकिन इतना जरूर रिफॉर्मेशन हुआ। और आज उसी का नवीनतम रूप ये हुआ कि हम सोलर एनर्जी से भी अब सब कुछ करने लगे, चाहे हीटर है, गीजर है, सब चला के एक
माइक्रो
चेंज लाए।
माइक्रोवेव
माइक्रोवेव है, सभी कुछ एनर्जी की जो फॉर्मेशन हुए। न तो तब इतनी फ्रीजर की जरूरत पड़ती थी गांव देहात में, मतलब। और तो और एक धंधा ठप हो गया, पेट्रोल वाले केरोसिन ऑयल मिला लेते थे, अब केरोसिन ऑयल होता ही नहीं, कोई पूछता ही नहीं है। और कई बार इतनी क्राइसिस होती थी, बेचारे धनी वानी लोग डीजल से फिर अपना चूल्हा जलाते थे जब केरोसिन नहीं मिलता था। फिर उसको ब्लैक मार्केट में हो तो नीला लगा, उसमें नीला धोता मिला देते तो नीला रंग का देखा जाने लगा। 50 बातों में तो देखिए परिवर्तनशील समय है, हमें एनर्जी को रेस्टोर करना है, लेकिन IRES की एनर्जी को बढ़ाते रहना है। वो एनर्जी चाहे गोमुख से निकले, चाहे हमारे चतुर्धाम उत्तराखंड की चतुर्धाम से निकले, और चाहे मलकमपन से लेके और तमिलनाडु और केरल तक पहुंचे, वो एनर्जी हमारी अनवरत चलती रहनी चाहिए। क्योंकि गंगा जी भी एनर्जी से बहती हैं और एनर्जी उत्पादन करने में सहायक है। हमारी हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक का प्लांट टेहरी का जो बना, वो पूरा इसी वजह से बना कि हम लोगों ने जहाँ पर जैसे भी फॉल किया, रिस्टोर किया और उत्पादन बढ़ाया, तो सारी हमारी जो इतना बड़ा उत्तराखंड में आज बिजली की उत्पादन बढ़ी है। कभी बिजली नहीं आती थी 6 घंटे 8 घंटे, उत्तर प्रदेश तो मुहावरा हो गया था, बिजली आ गई है अपने में खबर हो जाती थी, बिजली नहीं आ रही ये एक सामान्य बात है। तो बहुत चीजें बदली और आज हम काफी कुछ इस मामले में समर्थ हुए, आत्मनिर्भर हुए। और सच्चाई है कि हम 42 पैसे यूनिट की बिजली शायद नहीं ले पाते थे, बंद करो लाइट बंद करो, घर चला रहे हो। अब आज जो है 7 रुपए वाली भी आराम चला लेते हैं, और सोसाइटी में जब बैकअप की लाइट आती है वो तो 10 11 12 रुपए की होती है, और पता ही नहीं चलता कब बिजली गई और कब जनरेटर से बैक की सप्लाई आ रही है। तो है, तो हम फिर भी हमें खैर एनर्जी बचाना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो राष्ट्र हित में है। राष्ट्र की ऊर्जा, राष्ट्र की संपत्ति के रूप में हमको बचाना चाहिए। आप लोग जुड़े।
IRS की तो एनर्जी मिलती रहेगी कि ज्योति ज्ञान प्रकाशार्थम आयुर्वेदात्मकम ज्योति शाश्वतम प्रकाशताम, ज्योति ज्ञान
हाँ
प्रकाशार्थम। तो जो ज्ञान है ये प्रकाश
हाँ
है, और प्रकाश भी जो है एक उसका
बिल्कुल।
एनर्जी का रूप है।
और
तो
ये
ये
एनर्जी तो करते वर्धते भी नित्यम विद्याधनम धनम प्रधानम। ये तो प्रतिदिन खर्च करने पर प्रतिदिन बढ़ता है, इसलिए इसमें कंजम्पशन तो है ही नहीं, इसमें तो कंजर्वेशन ही है। देखा जाए तो ये कंजर्व भी होती है। जय हो। आप लोग जुड़े, आप लोगों ने आज बड़ा बहुत ही सार्थक बनाया आज के इस टॉपिक को। आदरणीय मैडम सुप्रा मुखर्जी जी, डॉक्टर शेखर बसु जी, प्रोफेसर रामजी शर्मा साहब, आप लोगों ने अपना ज्ञान दिया, चर्चा में भाग लिया, और एक सार्थक पहल हम लोगों ने की